everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Torch Snuffers Survivor Aftershow. Today we're going to be breaking down what went wrong for the third boot of Survivor Game Changers. My name's Elise Anderson, and I am your host. We have today the Survivor Cook Islands alumni and Torch Snuffers panelist, Billy Garcia. Billy, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Glad to have you on the podcast. And we have a very special guest this evening. We have the fierce and fabulous Sherry Macpherson. Sherry, how are you?
Good, Elise. Thanks for having me. And Billy, it's always a pleasure to be sitting next to you.
Perfect.
Cyber sitting next to me, but my pleasure.
Good enough. So today, spoilers, we will be talking all about the third boot of Survivor Game Changers, Caleb Reynolds from Survivor Co-Wrong and Big Brother fame. And Co-Wrong it did because he got sent home the exact same day as he was last time. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to start by talking a little bit about Caleb's previous game in Co-Wrong. We didn't get to see much of him, especially compared to the other game changers on this season. However, what we did see was a guy who worked really hard. A lot of people, because on Big Brother, he was known as being maybe misogynist and homophobic, and there's a lot of controversy there. But he came on, he made a great friendship, bromance with Chai. Everyone on his tribe really loved him. He ended up going home not because of getting voted out, but because he was brutally medevaced. So, Billy, any comments on, you podcast that season, any comments on his medevac or anything to do with Caleb's Survivor Co-Wrong game?
Yeah, I think somebody in CBS really liked him and gave him a second chance to shake the whole douchebag image, and they put him with a gay guy, and they made sure it was somebody that would be very likable to him and vice versa. So I think somebody in CBS really likes him. To explain why a guy who got medevaced out is on Game Changers.
Yeah,
what was his game change? That he damn near died?
I know.
Yeah, so Sherry, that's another comment, because before this game started, a lot of people were confused as to why Caleb was on this season, and two, he was talking all this smack about Tony and Sandra for not being game changers. He's since retracted those statements, but...
I mean, he was a strong competitor. He did put his all into his challenge, but he physically couldn't keep up. He passed out, got heat exhaustion, and was taken out, like he said, quote, on his back. So he never even had a chance to be a game changer.
That's true.
I'm surprised to see him back. I would have thought they would have used him more as a second chance or a fans versus favorite kind of season.
Oh, I 100% agree. Or something like Philippines, where you had medevacs all coming back. I think Caleb could have done a lot better on a season like that. But this season, he's kind of getting thrown to the sharks. Billy, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think he's surrounded by former winners, people that were finalists, people that went deep into the jury. He went out there, just a little bit more experienced than a newbie. So, in my opinion, it was like putting a rookie, a first timer, on there with all these fourth timers and third timers, and it's just, what chance did he have? If he was gonna compete, against other rookies, okay, he'd have had a 9-day head start on them, but it's only a 9-day head start, not a 39-day head start.
So I think we all agree that it's confusing he was cast for this season in the first place.
There was a couple I felt like that. Hallie Ford, I never really saw which there was a couple on here I think they just brought back because CBS liked them.
Yeah, I think it was like that.
And I think we all commented on when Caleb was medevaced in Co-Wrong. It was absolutely brutal. And as the music's fading, because he sacrificed himself for his tribe, it was super heroic. The music's fading. I think every single person was like, yeah, he's going to come back for a second chance. Yeah, he's going to come back for a second season. So I don't think it was a question of whether or not he was coming back. It's just game changers. Once you had that title, what did Caleb do exactly?
Yeah, he's been on he's been on Big Brother, on Survivor twice. I think it might be that he just has a great agent.
Yeah, maybe. That would explain a lot. But
Yeah.
as you talked about him just being thrown to the sharks, we don't really know how much he did, because he seemed to be doing fine on Mana Tribe, the first tribe of episode 1. Why don't we talk a little bit about that? Because as far as we saw, his name was thrown out by Sierra, but everyone liked him enough that they got rid of Sierra instead of him.
He has a very strong social game. Look at how he is with Ty, you know, when him and Ty met up, the kiss, and the way he's like, Ty's my boy. And when he came on Survivor, I can't compare him to BB because I didn't watch the Big Brother episode, but he came on as a, you know, really sweet guy, sweetheart. You know, he got along well with everybody. He had a nice social game, but they were looking at also his physical competitiveness in the game. And between Sierra and him, I would have gone with somebody who's going to help keep me out of tribal council. And I think they were relying on him to do a little bit better in challenges than what he was doing.
I think definitely the consensus is that he did a 180 from his Big Brother appearance on Survivor. But I do think that the tribe swap hurt him maybe as much or more than anybody else on the season.
I agree. Second to maybe JT for being the only person from his tribe.
Troyzan was in that situation as well, but Troyzan got lucky with the hidden immunity idol clue. Caleb, from what I heard from his exit interview, he said he looked for the hidden immunity idol. He spent an hour, because that was all he could muster. He got together with Ty, and together they looked for an hour. So we didn't see like that part of it come out, but it sounds like he tried. It was just he was surrounded by the wrong people.
Well, from what we saw on this episode, he didn't really do that much wrong. It was just his existence on the same tribe with Ty. Like, it was probably like, yes, Ty's my boy. We knew each other from last season. This is going to be great. But as soon as he's there, especially on it's like a 5-person, 6-person tribe,
right.
It's such a huge target to have a pair like that.
And it did.
I think
they also sent him to Debbie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Worried about the Debbie and maybe flipping over with them, and Ty for sure. Ty tried to save him.
There's a lot of wrong people this season.
I would just say I think what killed Caleb wasn't Caleb, it was Ty's mouth. Ty would constantly start his sentences with Caleb's my boy, Caleb's my friend.
I love.
He was saying too much. Instead of it helped Caleb a lot if Ty would have kept his mouth shut. I think he would still be there.
Oh, I 100% agree. Or if they did, like we saw Sierra and Haley being like, yo, we played on the same season too, but we aren't really friends, like that. Even though apparently they have matching tattoos from their season.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
It is a problem more so with Ty than with Caleb, and Caleb was just put in a bad spot. Because if you compare Caleb and Haley, which seem to be on the chopping block this episode, if you're going by challenge strength, you have to be like, yo, sorry, Haley, you have to go. We need Caleb. But it was only due to their relationship that he got screwed, and Ty's big mouth. Sherry, any comments on that?
Yeah, well, bringing up Haley for just 1 second, I mean, when I found out she was going to be on this season, I was like, she didn't earn her spot on this particular season. I wasn't impressed with her before. I felt like she whined a lot, and she didn't really seem to be into the game. Her and Jen, it seemed more of a joke. But I got to give the girl credit. Her tribal council against Caleb last night, now I actually believe she is a law student.
Caleb did not do himself any favors in that tribal council at all.
Her comment was, are you sure you don't have people on the other side? She threw that right at him. She argued him right out.
His whole argument was, yo, I'm a big threat. And it's like, no, you that's why they want to get rid of you. Haley's 100% right. Especially for someone, like, I think getting rid of Caleb was a great move for Brad. I think it was a terrible move for Ty, but I think Brad absolutely killed it on this one. Billy, any comments?
Yeah, it was a great move for Brad, a great move for Haley, a bad move for everybody else. because now everybody else is on the block.
Mm-hmm.
Very unlikely that they're going to win a whole lot. What Ty did wrong, if he were going to speak up, was he had to machismo. He had to be like, because that's Brad's history, that he was very machismo the very first time he played. He was very beefcake, get all the guys together and let's take out all the weak links. And that was his storyline in Blood versus Water. Ty needed, you do your research. You know you're going on the season. You do your research and read everybody's bio, know how they played before their first time or second time, third time, however many. And then you play into that. And Ty
is that something Caleb? Is that something Caleb could have potentially done? Could he have potentially gone up to Brad, because he's in a bad spot no matter what? Clearly, like, he was looking for the idol, didn't work out. But if he goes to Brad being like, hey, yo, let's dude bro it out, I can, like, work with you, we never saw him approach Brad at all, which I found weird, especially since, I don't know how much Caleb's seen for Survivor, but Brad is the type to want to keep all the dude bros together.
It looked like Caleb put all his eggs in one basket, and that was in Ty's basket, and had Ty do all the work for him instead of trying to make bonds on his own. So yeah, when you put all your eggs in one basket, it's inevitable on Survivor that basket's gonna break.
Yeah. Well, Sherry, what would you have done in Caleb's position? Because I'll ask both of you this question because it is kind of interesting. Like, we didn't see him screw up that much. Is there anything he could have done that saved him, even with Ty running his mouth?
I don't think he could have. I agree with Billy on that. Ty dug Caleb's grave. And the only thing Caleb might have done that he could have done that we didn't see in the editing is I would have gone individually to people and tried to plead my case, knowing that I was going to be on the block that night at Tribal. I wouldn't have waited for Tribal. I would have tried to point out, what I could do to help this tribe and how loyal I would be to this tribe. But every time Ty opened his mouth, it's just like Billy said, like, first thing when Ty realizes they're on the same tribe, I know he's waiting for my kids. Ty made a big thing like, oh, I've got my best friend with me now. And that is the kiss of death in Survivor.
Yeah, Billy, anything Caleb could have done?
Yeah, my concern is from an experienced player standpoint, when you're on the block, the producers tend to grab you a lot for signals, because that's, it could be your time, and they want to get as much information from you. So my concern is maybe that could have hurt Caleb's chances of bonding with people last second, like to get with other people, start strategizing, because he's busy doing confessional after confessional. So if that's the case, then it isn't just Ty that dug his grave. Production would have dug his grave as well.
Ooh, that's a very interesting question. Like, is that how you know you have to play the idol? Because production's grabbing you for confessionals every 2 minutes?
Yeah, if they're asking, first of all, you gotta answer. Like, if the question is, why do you think Elise wants to work with you? Your answer has to be, I think Elise wants to work with me because, and then you give the answer. So my take was always like, what's the question? As I'm hearing the question, that's the truth of what's going on. Why do you think Ozzy is not hanging out with you as much? Oh shit, Ozzy's out to get me. You have to be savvy to it. You have to pay attention. And so if Caleb is busy being Big Brother, Survivor, reality TV celebrity, and soaking up the spotlight, look at all the confessionals I'm getting, then questions, and he's hurting himself by not being around camp to play the game.
Well, and interestingly, we didn't even see that many confessionals from Caleb on his way out. Like,
he didn't get a lot of edits. You heard a lot of Ty talking, but you never really saw a lot of Caleb.
Well,
yeah.
Here's my take on it, and this is why I believe this. This is why I really believe this. If you listen to Caleb in Tribal Council, started back to his douchebaggy ways. Like, not full on, but he was very much hinting at Haley, we should get rid of Haley because she's a she. Is basically what he was getting at.
Not a good look for Caleb on his way out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think a lot of those confessionals are on the cutting room floor because they were douchebaggy. Like they like him, so they tried their best to make him look good. And the best way to make somebody look good when they're a douchebag is to cut stuff out.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. I don't remember we saw that much of him in Ko Wrong either, except when he's talking about Ty, which was such a fun relationship. But their tribe never went to tribal council. This season, they kind of had to put him in because he went to every single tribal council so far.
Yeah, his tribal council, I think his words to the tribal council gave insight as to what was actually going on with him around camp and how he was behaving.
So is it possible, like as you're saying, that he didn't have as good of a social game as we thought he had?
Well, listening to him, Billy talk, and listening to how, because I wasn't aware about, Billy just opened up a whole new world for us. I mean, I'm aware of this because we, as viewers, he's right. We don't realize there's a lot that's they can only edit so much in and out of the show. So he's right. If Caleb was being a total douchebag, and CBS really was trying to give him the hero edit, the underdog hero edit from what happened to him last season. How many times did they bring up that Caleb got medically evacuated? They were trying to give him a storyline. I would have to agree with 100%. They probably had to do a lot of cutting to keep him in that hero status.
Yeah, that Jeff Probst definitely rammed the whole medevac down our throats for Caleb's entire
existence.
Well, especially almost died, you guys. How many times have you heard that in just 2 episodes?
Especially when they gave him such a glowing edit last time, it's really hard to reverse that and be like, oh yeah, actually he's a scumbag, sorry guys. But I will say, everyone was mad at him preseason, like I said, because of his comments about Tony and Sandra not being game changers, but it should be noted he has since retracted that, and apparently he was being influenced by other players into believing those things since he hadn't really seen the seasons that much himself. So
that would have been that's his first mistake. I would have been watching everybody's season, or at least reading up and finding out everything about him, because Sandra did earn her right into this game. Even Ty did. Look what Ty did in his season with this craftiness. I mean, Ty was flip-flopping all over the place and changing things up with his sharing idol but not sharing idol, sharing super idol but taking it back and saying, see ya. Where did Caleb fit into all that? He was gone. He was on his back out.
Caleb was, well, we need to bring him back sometime, so might as well just throw him here. We have some extra spots,
Yeah, I think all this Caleb retracting is just him backpedaling because he knows he looks like a blithering idiot now. Yeah, I you know what? I'm gonna put myself out there right now and say Caleb took Richard Hatch's spot. That should have been his spot because he was the first game changer. So
well,
yeah, he's got a great agent.
Richard Hatch ever in consideration for coming back? So now he has had some legal issues and.
No, Richard Hatch has cleared all the legal problems. He's just not in great graces with CBS, especially since he's in great graces with Mark Burnett, but he jumped ship to another network to do Mark Burnett's what was it called, the Apprentice. CBS is like a jealous girlfriend. You're with them or you're not with them. There's no in between. So
you're with me or you're against me. So I think So I think from all this, what we've decided is it really just wasn't Caleb's time to return. He's not really a game changer. He had a great edit last time, but he would have been better suited for a second chances or Philippines medevac return season. Anyone want to agree, disagree with that?
Totally agree.
Or a second or a early boot season.
Yeah,
not necessarily.
You could have played against him, Billy.
Totally, and he would have been better off too. I totally would have rode him like a horse. Get up, Caleb! Get up! Come on!
Yeah, I will say that this episode I really found to be a very interesting concept, bringing them in, and I'm really Sandra's still there. That blows my mind that she's still in the game. You would have figured Malcolm sees it, and he knows. Caleb was with Malcolm, and now Malcolm's probably over there saying, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, I think Caleb's departure wasn't so consequential, like from what we saw, but it could potentially be if he was like in Malcolm's pocket, as we've been hearing, or in like working with some of these other big players. They just got rid of a pawn that they could have used down the line.
That
right.
gonna hurt is like Malcolm, that group over there that were like, okay, we can't get rid of Sandra this time, but we'll take out Tony. That's almost just as good, and then we'll target Sandra next. And now, that's
yeah. So maybe Caleb's boot will change the season completely, just by him not being there to follow other people, other stronger players. Billy, any comments?
Yeah, I think with Caleb, what we're gonna see is a domino effect of it won't hurt Malcolm because he's already adapted to his new tribe, but I do think it'll hurt the other players from his season. Like when you have that many from one season, you and I were there, we would quietly be saying like, we gotta thin that herd. You know, once we get to the merge, they could just stampede over us because there's 4 of them. Along the way, without tipping our hand, we got to get rid of one from that season here, then somebody else, and then another one from that season there, and then somebody else, and we got to do it that way. So that happen. I feel like we're gonna get like almost like with my season, the Yatsutaki. When they got rid of me, he started going one after the other with Cecilia, the JP. Then they got rid of a couple, then Christina, and it had a domino effect. So I think Ty kind of wrote his own death sentence there. Debbie.
Yeah, once again, great move, Culpepper. Terrible move, Ty. Ty definitely should not have been looking to get rid of Beast Mode Cowboy until at least after the merge.
Well, have you guys heard Culpepper? What would Monica do? That's become his catchphrase this season. Is what would Monica do? That would first episode.
So, in other words, Caleb can blame Monica solely for his boot this season.
Send her dead flowers.
Well, if there's nothing else you guys want to say, I think that wraps it up for this episode. It's been a lot of fun. Make sure to, well, first, anything you guys want to plug? Billy Garcia, I know you have a new album out for your band Forsaken called Descending Souls. Anything you'd like to say about that?
Yeah, it's available on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon MP3, Google Play, CD Baby. It's a worldwide distribution, thankfully, and yeah, we're pretty proud of this second album.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know I'll definitely be checking it out, and hopefully our listeners will be too. And yeah, so follow us. We will be doing the Torch Snuffers recap next Wednesday, as well as the after show will be released next Saturday as well. So keep tuned.
This was awesome. It was a pleasure getting to meet you, Billy. Now I got to meet you. This is awesome.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure having both of you on this week. So,
I had fun. Thank you.
Good night and goodbye.